Well, hello, Emily. How are you?
Wow.
Hot off the press. You just passed your exam. I'm so excited. But before we dive in, I would like to say welcome everyone to the journey to the CFP. This is a podcast where we get to explore the real stories, challenges, and victories behind becoming a certified financial planner. And my guest on today's episode is Emily Mears. Emily is a client service manager at Moneta Group in St. Louis. And what's unique about Emily is that she did not want to follow the typical path of everyone before her at her firm, where here's the process, let's do it, you pass, done. And so please listen to the end because I cannot wait for you to hear Emily's full story and the big shift she's made in her two attempts. So, welcome, Emily, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you and share my journey to help hopefully someone in the future.
So, tell us, okay, a week ago, was it the 14th?
Yeah. So I took it on Thursday and today's Tuesday. So almost a week ago. Yeah. It
Are
was
you
the
still
craziest
floating?
feeling.
Floating?
Yeah. I still check my email to make sure that it says pass. I'm like, can they take this back? I was like reading every fine line to make sure that it's like, okay, you passed and like your final results will come in, but like you're not, it's not changing. And I remember leaving my test and I asked the proctor, I'm like, did you see my test score? Like, can you pull this up? I don't know if I read it correctly. And he's like, you passed. Like, oh my gosh. It was the biggest. Oh my gosh, it doesn't feel real. It's all worth it. I wish I could tell myself that in November. Like, it's all going to be worth it. Failing is going to make you even more excited. I mean, I would have been excited, but
But you
like,
don't, I think you hit it, you made a very good point there.
yeah,
Both of us did not pass on the first attempt,
yeah,
but it took me three times. And if you had told me that I'd be grateful after I failed the first time or the second time, I would have probably punched you in the face. However, in hindsight, for those of you that are listening and you may not have passed, you're not alone in this. But
yeah,
I promise you, it will make you 10 million times stronger if you do not quit and you keep going.
it will. It's totally worth it. And it's just like now I have this fun little story to tell and, you know, never to give up and just be resilient. And I met so many people through this, which is crazy from all over. So that's been a positive to this story. But yeah.
Give me a little background. When did you, like, where are you in your career path? When did you
Yeah.
graduate? When did you take the first exam?
So I have been working at my company for around 4 years now. And I started as soon as I graduated college. But I did my undergrad and then I got my master's as soon as I finished and then started working. So I was about 2 years into my job and kind of the path to be an advisor. You do need to have your CFP. So I was like, I'm kidless. This is like the perfect time to start studying and like get this done with before, wanting to move on to all the other life accomplishments. So I started studying and I took Kaplan like courses. And I did that like I would get them done like two every 2 months. I'd kind of complete a class. And all I was told though is like don't worry too much about the materials, like get through the classes and then like when you take Zon, yeah, you're gonna like Zon is gonna be what changes your life and gets you to pass this test. So I'm like, okay. And a lot of people, so I work on a team of about 20 people, and the last person that took the exam was probably 4 or 5 years ago. So, but everyone in my company kind of, I think, follows this path. So I just stuck it out, trusted it. And I had a friend on my team that took it 3 months before me and failed. So got through Kaplan. Then I took Zon and I thought that I was going to feel very prepared. And I was like making pretty good test scores. And they say, like, if you make a 60 or 70 or something, that you're doing well. So it's like, okay, I'm doing all the work. I'm putting in so many hours of my time. Like, I felt like I was going above and beyond when it came to hours. Now, probably weren't quality, but I was like, oh, I'm sitting down here and doing this. So then I got to the exam in November and I failed. And I only got two sections in the green, which was absolutely shocking to me. Um, And I was so sad leaving that exam. I was like, what am I going to do? Because I mean, most people, I feel like you also assume that everyone passes the first time.
Yes.
Um, and it feels like kind of lonely. And thank goodness I had someone who I knew that failed, or I would have felt extremely lonely. But it just feels like such a lonely, and it kind of is like, I worked so hard. Why didn't I get it? Um, but I was so sad, and I was just like laying in bed that afternoon. I was like, what am I going to do? So I started Googling like what to do if you failed CFP. And a video popped up on the CFP forum, and she was like talking about Paul tutoring. And I was like, oh, it's like I never thought about tutoring before. But I was like, I can't repeat the same thing over again and feel confident in me passing. I was like, I have to do something different. So that's how I kind of found breakthrough. And then I saw all your videos of people, and I messaged Paul that night, and then he got back to me that morning and just like talked to me. And I was like, he made me feel so comfortable. And he asked me that fixed income question. Of course, I didn't know the answer to it. So I was like, okay, I need some help here. Um, and yeah, and then I didn't start studying. We started, and he was like, take some time off, like give yourself a mental break, because I felt like kind of at a low point in that after failing. So I just took off for a couple months, and we talked like once a week, starting at the end of January, and then we kind of bumped it up as it got further along. But yeah, that's kind of how I found breakthrough in my story to getting there.
Good for you. I mean, I think you are, I give you a lot of credit for taking the time and not trying to rush it in
Yeah.
March, because the first time I took it was November. Then I tried to take it in March, and I was so devastated after that that I mean, I took a year. I just could not, I was not in a
Yeah.
good place. So, and that you learned quickly you have to do something different to get different results. Uh,
Yeah.
Massive. Good for you for picking up on that sooner than later. And the quality over quantity. That is the other piece that I love that you said that, because I think a lot, whether it's Kaplan Design or it doesn't matter the program. If some people pass the first time, awesome. Good for
Yep.
them. The people watching this, it's probably not them because they're watching this right now. But when you just do the work to check off the boxes, like got through course one, got through course two, I
Yeah.
just have to get through it.
Yep.
You're not learning it internally so that you can understand it and apply it on game day.
No. And I feel like that is like, that was something I struggled with when I started tutoring,
Mm-hmm.
is that every day I was like, can you tell me what I have to do today? And it's like, no, we started off like with basic things just to like get myself back into it and, excited about it again. So we started like with general principles, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I supposed to do today? He's like, what areas do we need to work on? Like, and it was just coming up with a list of 3 things and knocking it off. And some days I'd study for like less than an hour. And I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be doing something else. But then, and I remember the first time we did questions, how horrific it was. And I told myself after, I was like, okay, if you can do these questions, you can pass this exam.
See, good for you for jumping to that conclusion quickly. I cried. I was like, I'm so stupid. But it was that that got me, again, on game day to
Right.
nothing was going to.
Yeah. Nothing was going to affect you. I know. I did cry a couple of times after my class. I'm like, I hope Paul doesn't know that I'm like so sad. He's like, you're
Oh, no,
being so
he knew every
positive.
time. God bless Paul,
Oh my
because
gosh.
and Jimmy. I mean, I think the nice part too is
Yeah.
the team. Like you have different people there who can help you in different pieces of it. So
Yes.
there's a handful of tutors. Then you have, some of us are helping more with like the mental, the study plan. So there will be people behind you to help you through it.
Yeah.
And I
That
think,
was such a big, I was a little nervous whenever Paul was like, oh, you're going to work with multiple people. I'm like, oh, well, I've kind of like just working together. And then I worked with Jimmy and Sam, and it's so good having a mixture of personalities. And like Jimmy's like an encourager, and he's like very strong in that. And I probably needed like a mixture of all the personalities to help. And it was fun getting to like meet other people. And then Amy, like the couple weeks before the exam, was like just an encourager, and her portion of like how much she helped me. was incredible, even though she wasn't like doing questions with me.
Right.
She was
And
like
everybody,
mentally
that's
helping
the thing,
me.
everybody's personality is a little bit different. So what you
Yeah,
need is different from the next person. And there's no perfect like trifecta or something. It's going to depend on the student and what will help them the most.
right. And Paul and I met at 4:45 in the morning. Um, 5:45 his time, 4:45 my time, which was amazing because I was like, I want to get it done, started. But then my days with Jimmy, I was like, oh, I get to sleep in a little bit, you know? So it's
It's
like
six
fun
o'clock.
having, yeah, I get to do it at 6. But it was fun just like having the different days and,
Wait,
everyone was so
so hold
willing to
on.
work with me.
You don't have children
Yeah,
and you were still willing to get up at
I
4:45.
know. I
There's
know.
another reason you passed.
I was just motivated. Yeah. That is another thing. You have to really commit yourself to the process. And
What does
it's
that
going
look like?
to,
Does that look like 5,000 hours? Does that
no.
explain what you mean by commit yourself
Yeah.
to the process?
I mean, first time it was football season. I was like, oh, I can just listen to the game in the background. And it's just like committing yourself for just, even if it's an hour a day, just to get done your task list and then enjoy yourself. And I think that's an important part too. It's just like make sure that you make time for yourself and you have to trust the process and trust that learning just a couple things a day is going to make a huge impact down the road. And I thought Paul, I was like, I don't know these materials that well. Like, I need to be reading about all of these topics, like going through my books again. And he's like, obviously, that's not the way I learned the first time. Well, I didn't pass the first time doing it that way. So he's like, no, you need to just focus on one topic, dive into it. And then him and I would talk about it the next day and he would debrief. But yeah, it's not about the hours, it's about the quality, which completely, yeah, changed things.
And I think that lists that you said, that is also
Yeah.
huge because when you're used to doing a program, it's get through this section, get through this whole topic, and then you don't do any of the questions mixed until the end.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's not your first attempt, I always try to tell people what was helpful for me. Again, it took me till the third time to do this, but have your list of 3, 5 things that you're going to do in the day,
Yeah.
but it can be from different areas too, because you can go back to your old material if there's something you're really struggling with, but you could look at a video on YouTube. You could look at, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how you get the information. You just, whether it's visual, whether it's a movie, whether it's reading, it's going
Yeah.
to be different for everybody, but you don't have to do the path that you're used to in order to get it into your brain.
And that's another thing. Yeah. And comparing yourself to like, oh, this person is taking this review course and they are studying these sections tonight and then they're doing a video class and then they're doing I'm like, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be reading the um,
Yeah.
ethics portion on the CFP website every night? Like, I remember that was like one of my tips was to go through and read that like before I go to
Every
bed.
weekend. Uh-huh.
All right, yeah. I'm like, and Paul's like, no, you're not going to retain anything. So it's just like changing your mindset and focusing on yourself and not, yeah, what other people are doing too.
I think putting the blinders on is huge. Did you look at
Yeah.
any um like Facebook groups or any of that the first go around?
So yeah, I had the CFP forum pulled up, and it was like everyone was in panic mode, or everyone was just like wanting reassurance for how they studied and what they did. And then it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't do that. Like, how am I going to pass? And yeah,
I do
it's
it different. Should
totally,
I redo everything that I just did? Was this all a waste?
yeah. And that was another positive too about Breakthrough. It's like, it is a big investment and it's totally worth it. But during it, it's like, okay, you have to trust the process. But it was nice. I got to talk to Chris and some past students and just like hear their experience. And it just reassured me that, you're doing the right thing. Stick with it. It feels a little weird because it's not the usual,
A
but
little
it's
weird.
worth it.
I was like,
Yeah,
this is not right. Paul's like, trust, trust.
just the process. I know. And then the studying before the exam or like
Oh,
the couple days off.
okay. What does that look like? Did you
Yeah.
do that the first time?
No, the first time I took the exam, I think I was still making flashcards like the day of or the day before on materials that like, I was like, oh my gosh, I had to memorize this before. This is probably, going to be all in it. So I studied, I think, till like 9 p.m., maybe the night before my first test. Um, just because I was like, there's so much materials, there's so much more I need to learn. And then this past time, I took the full day off before, and then I took most of the day off on Tuesday. I like worked a little bit in the morning. So basically almost 2 full days off. And I
Yeah.
remember on Wednesday, I was like anxious at my house, just like I was about to pull my materials out, and Amy texted me. She's like, "Do you have time to connect today?" And I was like, "Oh gosh, put away your
She's watching.
materials."
She can
Yeah,
see. She knows what I'm
she knows.
doing.
She knows that I'm opening this. So yeah, and that's I think also what helped me pass. It's just like having a strong, like fresh brain to be able to think. And Paul always says the strongest thing you have is your brain. So
It really, I cannot agree with you more on that. And I think I kept thinking when I did it different the last time, well, I'm going to forget everything. Oh my God, what if
yeah,
I forget absolutely everything? Paul said from like a month out, it's like nothing you do like in the last, I don't know, week or two, you're not going to be learning new things at that point necessarily. It is mastering the questions, like getting in the habit, building that muscle, because at the end of the day, yeah, if you go in tired, you're in big trouble.
yeah. And that was something too during the test day. It's like there were questions that came up that I didn't really, I mean, I kind of knew what it was asking, but I could just easily, with my thought process of like calling out things in the question, could get down to the right answer. And I'm like, that is, I didn't even know really that topic, but I knew how to eliminate some answers, which probably got the question right for me.
So, how did tutoring, like, how was that different from studying on your own? Like, how, when you just explained about that question, like, you may not know the material,
Yeah,
but what did
exactly.
tutoring help you with so that even if you didn't know the material?
You could pick out some answers. Yeah. So a big part was probably that I was skipping over, which is silly because you're like, oh, I read the whole question. But tutoring helped me like I literally used my finger to like read through the
Yeah.
questions
Yep.
because I'm like, I was probably definitely skipping words. And it's like calling out, things like what's their age, highlighting their age, highlighting. And it was like knowing what words mean, like non-qualified or like all these little words that are hidden in a question. What is that telling you? And how can you use that to answer the question? Which Paul would make you explain every answer choice, why you didn't pick it. And sometimes it's like, I don't know the answer, but like I feel that it's this way. And
Yep.
I remember my first times meeting with him, I was like changing my answers and I wasn't confident. And I was just like, kind of guessing a little bit. He's like, no, you have to
Obviously.
have conviction in your answers, even if it's wrong. Just like admit that, or like tell me why you picked it. Um, which on test day, I kept like replaying in my mind, okay, do I believe this? Like, why did I pick this? And I think that you really are interactive and using your brain whenever you're in tutoring,
Mhm.
that your quality is so much more efficient than if you're just reading the 20
Hours.
pages you have to read.
I said this on a few of the other episodes, but Paul, I could see, like I could see them on the top of my
Yeah,
computer, and I was having conversations, and I just kept looking like, please God, because I had the headphones on. I'm like, I hope I'm not
yeah,
talking out loud,
I know.
because they're gonna think I'm a kook. But I was defending, I was going, and
Yeah.
it gives you that. Even if you're wrong, you are so convinced that that's what you're going to go with that you don't have the time to really worry about, am I right or wrong?
If it's very wrong, yeah, you just move it in. And I remember Amy, she was like, okay, just change all your negative thoughts during the exam to like, at the beginning, if you don't know an answer, just be like, it's a blessing that this question's coming up right now and that you have the hard questions at the beginning. And I remember just like changing my mindset during the exam
Right.
to just like be positive about the questions and to change my mindset from like, I don't know this material to like, you're smart, you worked hard. And I think that's a good reminder. It's like, have some confidence and don't doubt yourself. And I think that's what Breakthrough also taught me through this whole experience.
Another piece you just made me think about is when the first two times I took it, I just didn't want to, like, I didn't want to get it wrong. I wanted to get the right answer.
Yeah.
But whether you pass by 1 point or you pass by 50 points, it doesn't matter. You just have to pass. They're not going to tell you what your
Yeah.
total score is if you pass. So I remember Paul saying there's going to be a lot that you get wrong because some of them are just like sample questions. So
Yeah.
you get your panties in a knot and it's not even a question that, like, come on. and you have to get some wrong. Well, you don't have to, but you're going
Yeah.
to get some wrong.
Yeah.
So going in that not everyone you're going to get, and don't waste the time on the ones that, like, use the strategy where you can at least eliminate one or two, and then you have a
Yep.
50-50 chance.
And then I remember my second time taking it, I noticed like silly things that were added to questions. And I was like, I never noticed that the first time. So I know that I fell for like silly traps and
Right.
stuff. And Paul and Jimmy and Sam and all of them, they called out whenever I was falling for traps, which like changes your mindset.
Is that called
Whereas
a
if I was
misread? Is that called a
right,
misread?
yeah, I
Do
had
you
to
have a misread penalty?
I Venmoed my mom money. I got my mom a coffee, which I was like, I didn't have too many misreads, but
Lucky
I
you.
I did I felt like yeah, when I did have a misread, I did that. But yeah, it was just like if I was going through these questions alone though, I would never realize that I was misreading that way.
You read it the way you want to. It's like,
Yeah.
that's why the finger, it's like you underline all the big words, or all the words that mean something.
Yeah.
Now, when would you say, Emily, that it started to click for you?
I would say honestly, it was like oh, during the 100 questions a day is
Wait, you did
whenever
100 questions a day?
yeah, in the last
Did,
month, the
did you
last
think Paul was nuts when he told you you were going to do that?
yes. And the first week I was still believing that a little bit that he was nuts because I was like, I'm so slow at this. And I was like trying to map out in my day of like, how am I going to do this? Because this is like
Hmm.
insane. And then I remember the first day I got like through like 90 questions. I was like, oh my gosh, this was my whole entire day. And then by the end of it, I like had my questions done by like lunchtime almost every day. And I was like, but I feel like that was the real game changer for me. And that's whenever I was like, okay, I'm getting these materials. And it wasn't so much focusing on the scores of those two.
Yep.
It was focusing on like the reason behind it and then like having your misread binder or
Yep.
notebook
Yep.
and just reading through those. And then by the end of it though, I was like rolling through questions. Um, and yeah, it
But
made
what
the
did that
test
teach you,
easy.
that beginning part, that struggle in that first week, which we all have, where you're like,
Yeah.
there's no chance in the world I'm getting through 100 because I read the first one 20 times and I still don't know the answer. What does that do for you?
It gave me it gave me like a sense of confidence the following weeks of like how much I grew within those, even like the first day versus the second day and the third day. It was like how much I grew through those moments and like how much easier it was getting.
Yep.
Um, so then that's how it like started clicking in my head, like, oh, you are like, this is making sense. You are learning. And I just remember that feeling of like defeat at the beginning. And then Paul was like, just stick with it, stick with it. And then by the next couple of weeks, it just gave me that confidence. So I feel like I needed to be like struggling through the beginning so that I could get
But
the
if
boost
you
of
didn't
confidence.
do that, like, you would go into the exam taking that much time on each question.
Yeah,
Like, it also shows you, I don't have all day to read a question 20 times.
no,
Like, twice and move on. Like, you just
yep,
don't, so that you're not, I don't know, halfway through the exam time wise and only a quarter of the way through the questions. I
yeah.
think also it exposes you enough that you know what pace you're going to have to be at so that you don't get caught up.
So you don't make that mistake. Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, on the exam, you don't have all day. Breakthroughs questions were really nice too because it like gave you a time limit whenever you did the practice mode. So that was another thing. It's like you're not going to get through your questions if you don't hurry it up.
Yep. Did you feel like your confidence and conviction grew in this process?
Yes, I feel like that's like the number one thing that changed was just my confidence. And it's like great life skills too and in the workplace and stuff. Paul like really helped me with gaining some confidence and he tried to like remind me and like teach me things about, being a good advisor or just like small lessons um, that helps me gain confidence outside of even the tests too. Um, but yeah, working with someone definitely gave me the confidence to pass this exam.
And what do you now know about yourself that you did not know prior to failing the first time and now passing?
I feel like I mean, I feel like I am a very disciplined person, but I was just proud of myself for staying disciplined and staying positive, and I could have like let myself get so down after failing, but
Mhm.
I was like, I'm so disciplined, I'm deserving of this. And it just, I don't know, it gave me a feeling of confidence and remind myself how good, like, I deserve this. And yeah, that was like the best part of it.
And what would you say to somebody watching this that may have taken the exam in this last week and did not get the same result that you got?
I would tell them to keep pushing. This doesn't define you at all. I remember going into work and being terrified to like tell people that I failed and feeling so like dumb in the moment. And whenever I was talking to our partners and people who I find very successful, they told me all their stories about failing and they reassured me. And no one thinks differently of you. And this is just an exam, it's not the end of the world. You're going to pass and it's totally worth it. And you're going to feel so relieved. And the feeling is like so amazing once you're on the other side that all of those bad feelings that you feel right now, it's going to be worth it. And yeah, keep doing things that make you happy and focusing on yourself and your mental health is going to help you pass too. So I would just encourage everyone to just stay strong. And if anyone needs to talk, reach out to someone from Breakthrough, or you can reach out to me or previous students. That's been a huge part of my journey too. It's just having someone to talk to, and everyone's been through it. So it feels good when you have someone to talk to.
And when you've walked out of the exam and it's not the answer or the result that you want,
Yep.
I promise with all of my heart, and Emily does too,
Yes.
everyone around you did not pass and you fail. Like
Yep.
there are other people. You are not alone. Nobody celebrates on LinkedIn or whatever. Oh, I failed. Woohoo. Like
Yeah.
nobody's putting that out there. And so keep your head down, keep your blinders on. If you did not pass, take some time off. Like really
Yes.
take some time, breathe, reset, and see what it will look like you for you next, whether that's reaching out to, Breakthrough for tutoring,
Mhm.
whether that's talking to them just to figure out. Maybe it's for some of you, maybe it's not, and it's okay. But
Yeah.
talk to somebody who can help you through to the other side. So I hope whoever's listening to this, you got a nugget out of this. You have the hope that in the belief that you can do this. Borrow our belief until it becomes your own. And
Yes.
I will see you on the next one. Have a great day,
Good
everybody.
luck.